Here is my recommended tech stack for bookkeepers in 2026. One of the questions I get all the time is, what apps should I be using as a bookkeeper? There are a lot of tools out there. Some are great, some are unnecessary, and some are just expensive distractions. So my goal in this video is to walk you through the tech stack that I recommend for all of bookkeepers in 2026. And then at the end, I'll tell you what I consider the absolute essentials. So let's jump right in. We'll start with proposals and engagements. So first up, proposals. I like Anchor. Anchor is clean, it's simple, it makes sending proposals and engagement letters easy. It also helps with invoicing and collecting payment information. You want something that makes onboarding smooth and professional, and that's exactly what Anchor does. If you're already using something like Keepful, you can also send proposals through there, which can consolidate tools and save you some money. We'll talk a little bit more about Keepful in a bit, but let's talk about accounts payable now. For accounts payable, I used to recommend Bill.com. I don't recommend them anymore. I've moved on over to Ramp. Ramp is by far my favorite right now. I use it personally. I even use their credit card. The interface is strong, the controls are solid, the reporting is clean, and their AI works really well. And if you're still using Bill.com, it's not wrong, but if you're exploring options, Ramp is worth looking at. One of the things that I love about Ramp is that while a lot of other accounts payable softwares allow you to pay bills with a credit card, they do penalize you for it. You are tacked on another fee. And so what Ramp has done is, because they also have their own credit card, or rather it's a charge card, they not only allow you to use a credit card to pay for bills, but they encourage it. So if you have a Ramp card and you're using their AP as well, you're allowed to pay with that charge card, and not only will you not be penalized, but on the contrary, you are awarded points. And those points can be accumulated just like any other credit card to reward yourself later with a nice gift card, or even use it towards your balance. Next up, no tech stack is complete without a ledger software, so let's talk about bookkeeping software. QuickBooks is still the one that is the leader. Like it or not, most small businesses are using QuickBooks Online. So if you want to land clients easily, make sure that you're comfortable with QuickBooks. Xero is also excellent. I personally use Xero in my own firm, and I love it. I'm not married to it, but the key here is flexibility. If you can work both in QuickBooks and Xero, you make yourself far, far more valuable. Now, QuickBooks is great, but sometimes it updates a little too much for my liking. So if you're tired of these updates and all these different layouts changing, I would use WriteTool. I think WriteTool is a must. It's a free browser extension, and it makes QuickBooks feel more stable and more standardized. Now, if you work with QuickBooks every day, WriteTool will make your life so much easier. And while we're talking about Chrome extensions, I also want to mention Classified. That is actually our own extension. It helps with categorizing transactions using AI and the interweb. So when you run into a transaction that you don't know how to classify, use Classified. It speeds up your workflow and helps you classify those transactions. If you're doing high transaction volume or cleanup work, it can dramatically speed up that process. Classified is built specifically for bookkeepers by bookkeepers who want efficiency while not sacrificing accuracy. Now, I want to talk something that's not as fun, backup and recovery. You want to always have a backup, and Rewind is my recommendation here. It backs up to QuickBooks automatically, and if you make a mistake that's too messy to fix manually, you can roll back the file to a specific point in time, and that alone can save hours when you're doing a cleanup or making some changes. Now, let's go to CRM and marketing. I think Keepful is the big one here and the clear winner. It's technically a CRM, but it does so much more than that. You can manage leads, you can track prospects, you can send proposals, build funnels, and even create websites. And their customer service is the best I've ever experienced, bar none. If you're serious about growing your bookkeeping business and not just waiting on referrals, you need something like Keepful. Now, Keepful won't give you leads, but it does help you in tracking those leads and staying in touch with them so that you are first or top of mind when a client or a potential client is looking for a bookkeeper. Let's talk payroll. Payroll, I like Gusto. It's simple, it's clean, it's easy for clients to understand. I will admittedly I don't love the customer service, but the platform itself is strong. ADP Run is very popular with small businesses too. I'm not personally in love with the interface, but it's common in the market. Patriot is great for solopreneurs or S-corps that only need minimal payroll, especially if they're just running one payroll a year for the business owner. Now, one software I would avoid for payroll is QuickBooks Payroll. There are much better standalone options. Now let's talk about banking. If you can get a client to switch banks, Relay is fantastic. It's built for modern small businesses. You can create multiple checking accounts for tax, savings, profit, operating, payroll. It's clean and organized, and if you're using Profit First, this is a must. Now, I know it's tough to convince a client to switch banks, but if you can get them to do it, Relay is your go-to. Now, let's talk about a topic that's not so sexy, and that's security. It's not optional anymore. So for a VPN, I recommend NordVPN, and for a password manager, I recommend RoboForm. You cannot be managing client financial data without strong password discipline. Another solid password manager option is 1Password. And then let's talk about insurance now. So for cyber insurance and errors and omissions insurance, I like PT Pro. They have excellent customer service. I'm a good friend of the CEO and founder, and here's what I like most about them. They'll review your current policy for free. That's right, completely free. And if what you have is good, they'll tell you, and they're not going to try to sell you on whatever they have. If it's not, they'll show you something better. That's the kind of transparency that matters, especially in the industry of insurance. Now, just kind of some miscellaneous office tools. I used to really be a Microsoft guy, but I moved to Google Workspace a couple of years ago, and I love it. It's simple, it's collaborative, it integrates well with most modern apps, and if you have a team, Slack is also worth looking at for internal communication rather than using the Google Chat. Now, task management. For task management, Double is solid. Double is very, very strong. They're constantly updating, and I've recently also been looking closely at Financial Sense because I really like what they've been building over the last couple of years. And if you don't want to spend any money on task management software, you can use the free version of Asana. The key here isn't the brand, the key is having a system. Now, for receipt management, I personally prefer HubDoc. I feel like the software is easy to use and also the flexibility of it. HubDoc connects to both QuickBooks and Xero, and if you use the built-in QuickBooks receipt tool, it doesn't work across different platforms. So HubDoc gives you much more freedom. Dex is another alternative I've seen used, but it is not inexpensive, and I've heard the customer service isn't great. Never used it myself. Now, let me simplify this even further. I want to give you the absolute essentials. If I have to strip down to the very bare minimum, what would I actually use if I'm starting my business right now? Well, I need a ledger system, and I think I'm going to use the market leader, and that's QuickBooks. Now, if I'm using QuickBooks, I'm going to need something like RightTool that's going to stabilize and make the experience much better. Now, for proposals, I would use Anchor. You need to look professional from day one, and you need to have the clean onboarding. Those first impressions matter. And for a CRM, I would use Keepful. If you're serious about building a business and not just hoping referrals show up, you need a system to track prospects and follow up. Now, that's it. Everything else, every other app is helpful. None of it is absolutely necessary in the beginning. You can add tools later, like AP tools, backup tools, banking tools, automation tools, but those four give you a strong foundation. And the reason I like them is simple. They grow with you. You don't have to switch platforms every time that you level up, every time that your firm is growing. Now, before I wrap up, two quick things. First, every single tool I mentioned is linked below in the video so that you can explore them for yourself. Second, for many of these softwares, we've negotiated discounts for our audience. So if you're going to try them, make sure to use the links below to take advantage of that. These tools won't build your business, but the right foundation will. So start simple, build systems, add complexity only when revenue demands it. So I'll see you in the next video.